Good morning and welcome to Dairy on Demand. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of dairy diversification. We're exploring how farmers can add value to their milk production by selling milk direct to consumers through vending machines. This innovative approach not only empowers farmers to connect with their local communities, but also offers consumers access to fresh, high-quality dairy products. Our panellists today are Michaella McMahon and Mark Hanrahan from Unison. Good morning, Michaella and Mark. How are you today?
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah,
not too bad. How are you?
Good. And we have Shannon Porter from the Milk Bar in Donegal. Good morning, Shannon.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. How are you?
So they're all industry experts and they'll bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to the discussion. Michaella and Shannon have been instrumental in revolutionising the dairy industry by embracing vending machine technology and creating unique consumer experiences. So we look forward to having you on board to explore the opportunities and the challenges of dairy diversification and learning about the benefits of direct to the consumer sales, and hopefully you'll gain valuable insights from our great panelists here today. So both of you are going to, Michaella and Mark, they're from, as I said, they're from Unison, and they're a leading provider of vending machine solutions for dairy farmers and for dairy products. And Unison have spearheaded numerous initiatives to support farmers in diversifying their revenue streams and reaching new markets. So they've pioneered cutting-edge pasteurizing and vending technologies that's enabling farmers to sell their milk directly to consumers with ease and efficiency. So Mark and Michaella, you're going to do a short 10-minute presentation, is that right? And then we'll go to Shannon, and then we'll take questions as well. But you can all put your questions into the chat, or into the Q&A, I should say, of this. And if you have any questions, we'll put them to the panelists afterwards. So if you want to share your screen there, and then we'll pick your 10-minute presentation, and then we'll go to Michaella after that.
Good morning, everyone. As mentioned by Michaella, my name is Mark Hanrahan, and I work for a company based in Limerick called Unison Process Solutions. My role within the company is a sales engineer, but I would specialise in the agri side of the business. So I would deal on a daily basis with artisan farmers looking to sell milk direct to the public. So just a little background into the company itself. We opened in 2006, and initially we started off as a service provider purely, but then about 10 years ago we started manufacturing our own continuous flow pasteurizers, and now over the years, as being an OEM manufacturer, we've added a lot of products to our portfolio, such as vending machines, chillers, and basic and full complete solution for someone that wants to sell milk direct to the public. So these are some of the other products and services that we provide, such as testing, turnkey solutions, homogenizers, and complete filling systems for people that want to do bottling alongside milk vending. So milk vending. So I'm going to talk a little bit about milk vending, the technology that we have available here as a company, from the pasteurizers, the vending machines, and other solutions. So a lot of people, when they call me with an inquiry, they'd say, why should I get into milk vending? So as Shannon will speak about later on, there's a change in customers' trend towards artisan products over large-scale dairies. They want to actually track where they're buying their food from, supporting local. And that was something in Ireland that became prevalent, especially during COVID, when people were restricted from travelling away from their houses. And that's why a lot of people that actually started in the country maybe about 3 years ago, they started off and their sales were very, very high because people tried to support them when obviously the whole country shut down. There's an increase in income and employment. Dairy farmers seeing 5 times more profit by selling direct to the public. I've actually had a few of my customers that set up purely at the beginning. They wanted to kind of scale back in milking, but they didn't want to lose out on profit. But they also wanted to bring employment back to the farm. So they had family members that were working other places as relief farmers. And he said, look, I don't want to become a millionaire. I just want to bring the family closer to the farm. And within 12 months, he had actually completed that. And sustainability, as everyone knows, less plastic packaging because everyone is selling their own labeled bottle, glass bottle, and less food miles. So this is one of our typical 500 litre an hour pasteurizers. So as mentioned earlier on, we started manufacturing 10 years ago, with concentrated development systems which are user-friendly with a one-touch start to finish. So this range starts from 200 litre an hour and it goes up as far as 2,000 litre an hour, and it's for vending, bottling, cheese making, even yogurt or ice cream. So these are some of the comparisons between the system that we supply, the HTST continuous flow, and the batch type of pasteurizer, which is essentially like a tank. So as mentioned, our system is fully automatic one-touch control. There's 6.5 times lower operational costs because we have a plate heat exchanger which has up to 92% heat recovery. So for 500 litres of milk, we're using on average about 8 kilowatts of power, because the cold milk entering the pasteurizer at 4 degrees is actually doing 90% of your cooling. There's a higher standard of pasteurized milk because one of my clients been doing bottle filling for the last 12 years. He's getting 14 days shelf life on his milk from the Department of Agriculture. Now, I know I have a few clients that are doing batch that have struggled getting 4 or 5, maybe 6 days, because once the milk goes into our sort of system, it's all enclosed. So once it goes in raw, you don't see that pasteurized product until it's in your finished tank, be it a bottle filler or for milk vending. Then with the system, then we can actually clean the vending tanks with the system. We can clean the bottle filling equipment. With regards to actually scalability, I have a client of mine that he started off with a 500 litre an hour pasteurizer 4 years ago, and now he's using the same pasteurizer producing over 2,500 litres per day. So once you buy the pasteurizer, that's the core of your operation. You can build the auxiliary equipment around it, like the ice cream making or the bottle filling, or even if you wanted to go separating to do your cream or butter, but it all starts from the pasteurizer. And as mentioned, this machine can be programmed for various processes. So if you want to fill multiple tanks for vending, like what Shannon is doing, you can say, I want to do 200 litres in my first tank and 200 litres in my second tank. Once you press start in your pasteurizer, you can go do whatever else you need to do on the farm. And when you come back in an hour's time, your 2 tanks will be filled and the pasteurizer will be in standby mode. So with regards to food quality standards that we have here at Unison, Unison is an ISO 9001 qualified certified company, and all of our pasteurizers are certified to meet CE certification for Ireland and Europe, FDA, UL and PMO for America. With regards to the actual pasteurizer itself, we have a diversion valve check within the system, which checks the diversion valve on the pasteurizer every day prior to production. Now, this is a requirement by the Department of Agriculture in Ireland, and on the data log that is generated every day, you can actually see that valve operating on your graph, and that is a requirement for the Department of Agriculture. So this is a new product that we've launched in the last couple of years for milk vending, and this is a smart microdairy. This is purely for milk vending, so you can't do any bottle filling, because when our customers were getting into milk vending business, the biggest issues they had were planning permission, getting builders on site, getting electricians on site, the cost and even the time of trying to rely on people coming to site, plus the actual moving of the vending tanks themselves, because the tanks are a 200 litre tank. So when they're full, they're about 230 kilo. So we tried to come up with a solution that how would we minimize, we'll say, time for planning, for builders on site, for actual moving the tanks. And this is the Smart Microdairy, which is a modular system. So just on the right hand side here, you can see an example of the sort of app that's used to control the microdairy, because the operator does not go into the processing room. So you can set how many litres you want to pasteurize, what temperatures you want to pasteurize, and even what time you want to start the unit. So once you connect the raw milk on the outside, you have no more handling of the milk until it's through the glass bottle. So on screen, you'll see some of the contents that come included with the microdairy. Of course, the Unison continuous flow pasteurizer is included, which has the diversion valve check, holding time test, a fully cleanable cycle. It comes with a vending tank. It comes with the chiller, which is providing water at 1 degree. It comes with a compressor. It comes with the fan, the lighting, and the control panel. So these are an example of the vending machines that we supply here in Ireland. They're from an Italian manufacturer called DF Italia, and they start from 200 litres, and they can come with a modular unit that can hold up to 1,800 litres. Now, you'll see an example of a few of our customers, how they've set up their machines, but these can be set up on farm, in shops, and they can even be set up in mobile units that you're bringing the milk to the customer. But as I always say to my customers on the phone, there's no exact way to go about it. It's whatever suits your business best. If that's to have it on the farm and easily manage everything, or if you don't think you'll have high footfall, that you can bring it into a busy supermarket, or there's some people that have their business based on going to farmers markets and areas that they know will be highly populated. And a lot of people are looking at getting into multiple machines. So they'll have their pasteurization on farm, but they'll have vending machines in different areas located around their city or their town. And I have some customers even in the UK that have up to 12 machines. But milk vending is very, very new in Ireland in the sense that there's probably less than 20 producers in the country that are doing this. Even in the west of Ireland, I think there's actually only 2 or 3 at the moment. But it's definitely something that is going to become more prevalent in the next couple of years, obviously due to the milk price, but the success stories that people have had. And I'm going to show you a few examples of how you can actually set it up. So these are setups that are on farm. As you can see, there's different sizes and types of the machines. So if you're looking at the picture in the middle, on the right hand side, you have a 200 litre machine. So you can put a 200 litre vending tank into this machine. You can program that machine that if there's a certain amount of litres left inside, that you will get a text message to your phone. And depending on the time of day, you can decide, okay, I'm going to pasteurize maybe another 100 litres or 200 litres, or you might leave it till the morning. With the pasteurizer, we have a fully automatic heating element. So once you start heating it up, you have water up temperature within 15 minutes. And once the raw product goes into the pasteurizer, you will have pasteurized product within the first 90 seconds. So you have a continuous supply that you don't have to rely on shutdown. That if you get a text message that there's 20 litres left and you pasteurize 100 litres, it will take you a half an hour in total. So you'll never have a machine without milk. On the bottom right hand side, you will see a machine which has 400 litres inside and 2 dispensing points. This machine is for a machine that's selling skim milk and full fat milk. So the customer has the option if they want to buy full fat milk on the right hand side or skim milk on the left hand side. So as you'll see on the bottom left is one of our customers that's also on the call here today, Shannon, holding the glass of the milk bar bottle of milk. So she has the 400 litre machine, which can hold 2 200 litre tanks with 1 dispensing point, because at the moment she's selling the full fat milk. In the bottom middle, you have a modular unit. So this will hold up to 4 200 litre tanks, and it has a bottle dispenser as part of the one system. So this is for someone that wants to maybe have it off farm in a busy supermarket or a car park, and it's a modular that it just lands on site. You don't have to build a hut or a room, and it all lands there. And with regards to actually other customers doing the bottle filling, I had one customer, he started off with a batch pasteurizer. He had a 15 litre pasteurizer. It was taking him 12 hours to pasteurize 100 litres. He got our 500 litre unit. That 100 litres was taking him maybe 12 minutes. And he's actually the same customer that has began to do 2,500 litres using the same pasteurizer. So even though when you're getting into this sort of business, the equipment, there is a lot of cost in equipment costs, and I'll also go into the actual getting set up regarding the Department of Agriculture, food safety from a HACCP consultant. But the pasteurizer itself is adaptable. The vending machines, once you buy them, if it wasn't working in one location, you can actually move them then to a different location if you want to put them off-site into a different supermarket. And there's people then that start off with milk vending. They go into hospitality, so they go into hotels, supermarkets, where they're really growing their brand. But where their name actually got out into the public was through milk vending. But they're diversifying, and they're also looking at doing a farm shop where they're selling more than just milk, maybe doing cheese, yogurt, eggs, and actually making it a destination for people to come, and maybe doing the Easter egg hunt or a pumpkin patch and making it a destination. And finally, this is one of our customers. She has it in a mobile unit. So every day she would put up a schedule of where she is going to be. And once she sells out in that location, she brings her trailer back to the farm, pasteurizes for maybe another 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and then she sells again in the afternoon until she sells out. So thankfully, I'd just like to thank everyone for being here today, listening to a bit of what we've got to offer. I hope I helped you with any questions that you may have. And if you have any further questions, please just let me know. And here's a link. And we have online brochures which are readily available.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Mark and Michaela. And if you want to stop sharing your screen there now, please, and then Shannon can start sharing hers. Just while Shannon is getting set up there, I just ask you one question there, like user friendliness and minimal maintenance. That's very, very important for farmers or maybe small scale processors. What kind of user friendliness is there in terms of using the equipment? Because it's really crucial. How do you design the equipment to make sure that it's user friendly and that measures are taken with minimal maintenance, and what kind of maintenance is involved in it?
So with the pasteurizer, there will be a yearly service that's required from the Department of Agriculture. And when we sell a new unit, we supply the certs with the unit. There will be a plate heat exchanger integrity test to make sure that there's no cracked plates, that there's no contaminated product going to the market. Temperature probes, so your hot milk and your cold milk need to be calibrated once a year. And the holding tube, which is the length of time that milk is held at pasteurization temperature, that needs to be certified on a once a yearly period. But we have a data logger built into these units. So at the end of everyday production, we recommend that the customer plug in a USB, press download. It takes about 20 seconds to download, and it will generate a graph on their computer. This graph is then color coded. So it shows how long you're heating up for. It shows your hot milk temperature to make sure all the milk is above pasteurization. It shows your diversion valve operating, as I discussed, and it shows your cold milk temperature. So that when the department come out and they'll do a twice-a-year audit, they'll actually request to see some of these certs. But also, if you ever run into any issue, we'd always say, send us on the data log. So our engineer then can log in remotely. He can see the data and he can troubleshoot, because we have 25 alarms built into the unit and they're coded. So for example, if the customer didn't have water going to the unit, it would be alarm 18, no water supply. I had a customer previously that it was going out at a low product because we have a sensor in the tank that shows the level. And if that level goes below a certain percent for a certain period of time, the system will actually shut off to prevent the pump from running dry. And we have a customer in Northern Ireland, which is a 5-hour one-way trip. He sent us on the data and we could see that it went out low level 4 times. So our engineer asked him, did he have milk inside his tank? And it actually transpired that the milkman collected the tank without notifying the customer. So there's different things like that that allows the customer to actually read the data themselves.
Yeah. But there's a lot of remote monitoring going on there as well, which is a good safety guard as well. So thanks for that, Mark and Michaela. So we'll come back to you guys in a moment, and as I see, questions are coming in for all our panelists here, but we'll just go over to Shannon now at this stage. So Shannon Porter is the founder of the Milk Bar. So it's a popular destination in Donegal for fresh dairy products sourced directly from their local farm, the Porter's local farm. They have a passion for sustainable agriculture and community engagement, and Shannon has transformed the traditional retail model by introducing vending machines that offers convenience and quality to customers. So her commitment to promoting locally produced milk has garnered widespread acclaim and has inspired other farmers to explore similar ventures. So Shannon, you have your presentation already shared with us there. If you want to take us through it, and we'll come back to the Q&A afterwards.
Thank you, Barry. Okay. So a little about myself. I'm currently 25 years old. I graduated from Harper Adams University in England. And I suppose I was at the stage of thinking, what am I going to do after I graduate? And I suppose I'm from a family farm. I have 2 brothers. And I suppose the old tradition that the boys take over the farm. So I sort of want to make my stamp and say what I want to do a part of my family farm. Okay, so my family farm established back in 1990, and Dad started off with about 30 cows, and we've expanded up to about 400 to 450 dairy cows. But we also keep all young stock and replacement, for replacement and beef. We also have about 200 ewes to lamb as well. So we're more of a spring block calving herd, grazed out in grass. So currently, within this week, next week, it's going to be absolutely hectic of calving cows. So the fun begins and the sleepless nights. So as I said, I graduated from Harper Adams University. I started back in 2019. Now, I didn't get the degree, my qualifications after leaving, after doing my leaving cert. So I did that extended foundation course. It was just a 1-year course. I proved Harper Adams that I was entitled to do the honours degree that I wanted to do in the first place. So I had to get a distinction in that degree to be able to get into my BSc honours degree. of agriculture. So that was a 4-year course with a full year placement where I work with Premier Nutrition, Lakeland Dairies out in the road, transition management, scoring cows. Okay, so now on the sideline, all my vending machine, I work with Smith Steelside. I'm a sales representative on the road. So like this is where I'm trying to say that having a vending machine, it's all self-service. You don't have to be there supervising it 24/7. That I'm out in the road and still earning a wage every day as well, which is great. So the milk bar, it opened on the 24th of September 2021. I would love to have opened it that summer, but just with Brexit and the whole shebang and parts and everything, we didn't get it going. So the milk vending machine is located on the home farm. We have it in a log cabin. We just have it in the just before the farm begins, so we don't really want people moving, walking around our farm. Health and safety. So it's just at the beginning of the farm. If they look, they can see the cows in the sheds up behind them, but nobody really adventures up, which is the beauty of it. And I also supply to my milk to coffee shops and restaurants. I'm just going to show you a wee video clip. Sort of has everything involved in it. So hopefully this will work. Okay, so that's just a wee video that explains it all there for me. As I say, it was a family generation. Back years and years ago, my great great granny and granddad bottled milk up in Caslin, which was known as Milburn Dairies. So I suppose through the years have went on, we have went to plastic bottles and cartons and so on. And now the fourth generation has went back to glass bottles, which is the way I think our whole community, the world is supposed to be going. We want to be more sustainable. So it's lovely to see that beauty of that whole generation cycle and go back to the old days. So I suppose, like Mark has probably mentioned, with the pasteurized and all, like the difference between our milk and supermarket milk is completely different. It's non-homogenized, it's non-standardized, which is given that natural layer of cream on top, which is the beauty of our product. It's basically, as I call it, real milk. It's what it really should taste like. And that is what we really sell. That is we're selling it as a premium product. And that's why we're able to sell it at a high product and sell it at that higher price. So sustainability is at our forefront. And with, I suppose, Teagasc and the whole shebang, we're pushing to be more environmental friendly. Like our whole farm, like the way we farm, we have to be more environmental and more sustainable as the way we farm. So reducing carbon footprint miles is massive. Like I literally push my milk 50 yards down to the milk vending machine compared to where the milk lorry comes and collects it at our farm, brings it to the processing unit. The whole through the processing unit, at the time it's delivered to the shops, the customer picks it up, delivers it home. Like the difference of the carbon footprint miles to the milk vending machine, where it's literally pushed 50 yards down to the milk vending machine, your customer picks it up and goes straight home. Like it really drastically reduced the carbon footprint miles, reducing the use of plastic. So basically, your customer buys a bottle once, that bottle is their bottle to keep, and they keep coming back each time to reuse that bottle. So like if you think about it, like a family, how much liters of milk do they drink every week? Let's just say like 7 liters a week. That's 7 plastic cartons. Multiply that by 52 weeks. Multiply that by years and years. Like the amount of plastic that is used and wasted, where that glass bottle is theirs to keep, and they reuse it and reuse it and reuse it, where there's no plastic. Okay. So throughout my time since I've started, I've completed a few achievements. I entered my milk into the Blast and Heron finalist back in 2022, and I became a finalist of that, which was such an achievement for my first year in business. I also came runner-up of Food Coast in Donegal. So in Donegal, we really try and advertise and promote the Donegal products, and we have this great organisation through Donegal Leo. So I came up runner-up for the Food Coast in that, and I also was nominated for the Innovation Award for Women Farmers in 2023. So IFA, Irish Farm Association, nominated me for that award. So like to be picked out of all of Ireland to go against all of other countries, it was just such an amazing opportunity, and so blessed to be nominated by them, which was fantastic. So there recently, it's probably coming up to a year now, back at Easter last year, I collaborated with Little Mamas, which is an ice cream company in Donegal town. So we collaborated together, and so he basically takes my milk and he makes me ice cream for me, and I sell that ice cream in my shop, and he sells it in his shop. And I suppose now with our plans together, like we have realized how unreal the how great it's actually done in the past year. Like the sales of it has just been fantastic. So we're thinking of working together as a team and sell our product elsewhere throughout Donegal. So it's really great working with other businesses. So like you advertise together, there's more marketing, more advertising, more talking, different areas. So like it's really fantastic to collaborate with other businesses throughout. So I suppose we started the milk vending machine. I wanted it on the home farm because I was like, Dad, we had a big argument with myself and my father. He wanted me to put it out at down at a shop, main road, very busy, blah blah blah. And I was like, Dad, no, I don't want that, because I want people, my customers, to realize where their product's coming from. Okay. So like that, it's educating young kids where the actual product coming from. Like I've had such an opportunity to be able to hold school tours and events, and the amount of young kids have no idea where their actual product of milk is coming from. Like they just think it comes from a carton. They don't know it actually comes from a cow. So to be able to show them, so like I only sort of do school events around springtime, because I suppose we have the baby calves and we have lambs and everything now, and it's like the best time to show them, because in the summertime all the cows are out in the field and there's nothing to see around the yard. So like now I have school trips all booking in, and it's like showing them literally where the cow's born, or the calf's born. So they've had some school trips have been so lucky to actually see a calf being born. So basically to show them where the calf's born, to where we would milk the cow, feed the cow colostrum, show them where the calves are all kept, how they're fed down there, show them then I suppose how well we look after them with the coats and so on, and then we take them to the parlour, show where the cows are milked, show them where the milk goes into the big bulk tank, and then explain to them that half of it goes to probably Revivo or Donegal Creameries or Co-op, and then we show them then where we set our pasteurizer with milk in our pasteurizing room, and then we take them down to like the vending machine and they all get a wee milkshake. So that we're showing that the whole life cycle, which is really good to educate young kids. I've had ag science classes out and really helping them to like get their head around it. Like I would study or struggle with dyslexic, and I'd be more a visual learner, and I think it's great for them to actually see what they're learning in person. So it's really, really good. I've been able to hold Easter events, and the craze for that event is absolutely amazing. And everybody keeps asking, "Are you doing it next year? You do it next year?" So it's such a great event, and it's like easy. Like you just open a farm basically to them, have an Easter egg and all the end, but it's great. Like it's diversifying your business into other things, which is great opportunity. Social media is very, very important. It is very time consuming, but the beauty of it is it's the customers you get from it. Okay. So like it really helps to expand your business. It gets to people that you probably wouldn't know of. Like people share, like they're like a completely different audience that I would be with. And that's the beauty of collaborating with other businesses, is as a different audience to what I keep attracting to. So social media is very, very important. Sometimes I'd find if you actually don't use it, you would see probably your sales drop. Where you you do have your local customers, but see those ones that are just out for the Sunday drive, just out for the day trip, like social media is very, very important for that, in my opinion. So throughout the whole time, support from your family, friends, it's very, very important. And then probably at the start, you're like, oh no, I'm fine, don't need help. But honestly, just take the help. Like, they're there to help you, and you do need them. And like, I try and run this business by myself. It's very, very difficult. Especially when I have a full-time job as well on the sideline. But like, even just like, Dad, can you do this? Or Mom, could you help me with this? Like, it's really, really important to just accept it and take the help, because you're just going to drown yourself in all the help. So that is sort of all gathered up in that. So I can hand it back to Barry, and we can have questions throughout.
That's great. Thanks a million for that, Shannon. That's a great overview of what you're doing. I suppose some people assume, Shannon, that these things happen by themselves, and there's obviously challenges along the way in getting a project like this off the ground. Do you want to give us an idea about maybe some of the challenges you had in getting the project off the ground?
I suppose the start was an absolute nightmare. You just kept facing challenges all the time. It's the start, you don't realize what you're getting your head into. And I suppose at the time I was very new setting up. There was nobody else really in Ireland at the time when I was looking to get going. So I suppose I was going around Northern Ireland, dairy farms, and what I've seen over in England when I was over at college. So that's what I was sort of taking through. But the thing is, when I was listening to all the ones in Northern Ireland, what they were doing, how they get on, blah, 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 it's completely different to what it is in the Republic of Ireland. The regulation through the department was the most difficult part. Okay, so I suppose it was very new at the time. They were sort of making the rules up when they went on. So at the very start, to get that license by that department was the most difficult part at the start. And then I suppose the challenges of back the time with Unison, we had the whole issue of Brexit back then. So equipment was delayed where I wanted to be open and going for that summer to have that full summer craze. But these things happen. The only real challenge I noticed too was the hidden cost of that food quality standards. Like, I had to hire in a HACCP consultant because I wasn't HACCP approved back then. So hiring in that was very difficult, and that was very time consuming to get to the stage where the department wanted us to be. The testing of the milk, that was a massive challenge and a very big hidden cost that nobody is aware of. Okay, so
what kind of a cost is involved in testing the milk?
Well, right, so we have to do in-house tests, right? So me personally, I have to do an antibiotic test and an alkaline phosphate test every day on the farm, every time I pasteurize milk. Okay, so that's a hidden cost of a cost that you have to do that all the time, every day. Then every 3 months, well, this is my opinion, all of vending machine crew, we're all different. The rules that we have, different areas are different with your consultant. But mine, I have every 3 months, I have to get my milk Enterobacter test and an E. coli test. And I have well water that I use, and I have to test my water twice a year. Okay. But like, just for example, that 3 month one there with Enterobacter and E. coli, like, that's nearly €250 every month to get that milk tested. Like, it's just what you didn't put into calculations at the start. That's where that hidden cost was, that I wasn't prepared for that. You didn't think of that. So that was like a real challenge that I probably faced at the start.
And what's the basic food hygiene standards and the requirements that farms have to adhere to, when you're selling milk directly to consumers?
I don't know, there's that many different rules and stuff, but like, we had to have our own pasteurization room. Back in my time, your pasteurization room sort of had to be close to the milk dairy place, that you weren't transporting the milk too far. With Unison then, with their pasteurized, it had to be gravity fed in. So then that was an issue then. Like, you have to make sure that your building was brought lower to where the bulk tank was. Your premises have to be nice and clean, obviously, sort of all enclosed. That's why I sort of loved Unison product, because it was an enclosed pasteurizer. So the department didn't really cause any issues with that. Obviously, you have to have your shoes, your clothing, the proper protective gear. Now, the other thing was, like, you have the change room, and then you have your pasteurization room. Okay, so you're basically changing outside with your dirty clothes, going into the pasteurization room clothes. clean. Now, the only thing I've obviously expanded and grown, and I've went into coffee shops and restaurants. Okay, so obviously at the time I built the building big enough. And then when I started telling the department I wanted to go and start supplying to coffee shops and restaurants, all the rules all sort of change because you're going further. Okay, so you've delivery in that, so I had to get a cool van to go for that. Then I had to build a cold room, and I had to build a washroom for returning bottles. Okay, so they wanted me to build on another unit, and I was like, I'm not doing that. That's a lot of money. Where at the time I built that room, my pasteurizing building big enough at the time where I was like, can I not just put a dividing wall down the middle, another door, blah blah blah. But there was a big argument and all back at the start. But I put my foot down and I just says, like, guys, this room is big enough. I don't understand why I need to build another unit. It's just a bit ridiculous. And I suppose as I said, I put my foot down and I just said to them, I was like, where in the regulation does it say what size of room it has to be? Like, if I can walk around everything, I don't understand why I have to build another unit. So I suppose when it came back to that way with me saying, where's the regulation to say this? I got my way then. So I literally just put a dividing wall down the middle. And
in terms of this, Shannon, are you dealing mainly with the Department of Agriculture, or is it the Department of Environment? Do you deal with the Department of Environment at all in this area?
Not that no, I haven't anyway. It's just the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
So like now with that whole food and the restaurant part, I have to have a room or like a door that I come in with dirty bottles, have a dishwasher, and then have another room that you can go in to pasteurize it in your cold room. So like, just when I'm thinking, like, if you're thinking of going down that you want to diversify further, think about what your actual future plans are, because maybe do that all in your costings at the time and maybe build. That's the only thing I can recommend if anybody is thinking about that in the future.
Okay, I just want to throw a question there to Michaella or to Mark there in terms of the handling and the transportation of milk. You know, have you any advice for people that, you know, what they should take into consideration if they're moving milk from the farmyard to a particular point where it's going to be pasteurized and where it's going to be any advice there in terms of location and infrastructure?
So ideally, when we're, like, if I go to the farm and I'm meeting with a farmer, I'd see where their bulk tank is located, and we'd always try put the pasteurizer as close to that room, because as Shannon said, we want the gravity feed, and the reason why we want the gravity feed is the less pumping the milk, the better, and the shorter that line, the less milk that's going to be left in that line, because we have a flow meter built into the unit, and if you wanted to pasteurize maybe 100 litres today, once 100 litres has gone through the pasteurizer, the valve will shut and it won't allow any more product in, because that's what the customer wanted. So you will have your line between your bulk tank and your pasteurizer filled with milk. So you need to drain that. But also from an installation cost, the less piping, the less expensive it's going to be. But there are some clients then that get a mobile tank, and they'll wheel the mobile raw milk tank from their bulk tank room across the yard, and then they'll pipe through the wall. With regards to transporting the pasteurised milk, as Shannon was saying, every department inspector is kind of different, but I think they are trying to streamline it now. But the old regulation was, if you're going beyond 5 miles from your farm, you have to have a refrigerated van to transport the milk. Now, that kind of seems to be different depending what inspector you're talking to. But most of my clients, their vending machines wouldn't be within, we'll say, the 5K. But for example, the one that's in the trailer, the vending machine is actually a fridge. So once you put the milk into the vending machine, we'll say there's an agitator on the tank, and it's like a fridge, so the milk is being kept cold. But my advice would be, if you are looking to put it into a village or the next town, have a word with the inspector and the HACCP consultant to see what is the regulation in that area regarding transportation of the milk, because the tanks that are in the vending machine, they're not jacketed. So we'll say the milk is coming out of the pasteurizer between 4 and 5 degrees. So when they go into that tank, the milk is at 4 to 5 degrees, but there's no cooling jacket on it, because what some clients have had to do as well, if they're pasteurizing multiple tanks, they've actually had to build a cold room, like Shannon has mentioned, for bottle filling. They've had to build a cold room within their existing processing room, that once they pasteurize the milk, they store those tanks into the cold room until they're actually ready to transport them.
Just a side note there with Mark, though, obviously at the start, I didn't really want to build a cold room because it's obviously a big cost. So that was sort of like the reason why I went for that 400 litre vending machine, because that other side was like a cold room in my eyes. What I use as a backup, as so if I had one tank, it was nearly finished, and I pasteurized more milk, and it obviously where do you put that cold milk to your actually finished run out? I always pushed it into the other side of that vending machine, and that was classed as my cold room back then, until I had my actual cold room. So that's just another idea to put out there for yourselves. That's what I did. I just spent that wee bit of extra money and bought the 400 litre vending machine compared to the 200 litre vending machine.
Okay, thanks. What type of supports are available, or funding opportunities are available for you, Shannon, as the practitioner installing this on your farm? Who do you go to get a bit of support in Donegal, for example?
You've Donegal Leo, and then
So that's your local
enterprise office. Yes, they're really great.
Did you do a start your own business course with them or anything like that?
I did. But now the only thing that at the start was an issue with them was that they couldn't help me to give me the funding at the start because I was working through the Department of Agriculture. Okay, so they can't step on the toes or something with the Department of Agriculture. But apparently now, since I've started up and running, they can help me out now. Okay, because I'm up and going business.
Because you're adding value to a farm produce, and you're creating a new business essentially.
Yeah. So I would work along with them now, but at the start I wasn't able to. And then I suppose that there's that leader fund as well. Now I didn't go through leader fund, but that is another source that people have been using is leader funding. But when you're an up and going business, like your vending machine, you can go then to your local enterprise office. Now it might be different in other places, but that was the rule back in Donegal at the time. So they just weren't able to.
And you also give grant aid towards marketing, developing a website. Did you get any kind of grant aid like that from them?
Donegal Leo, not yet, but they're crying out and asking me to take all these opportunities with them now. That it's just, I'm at the stage where yes, I can expand my businesses, but it's what I want to do. I don't really know what I want to do yet. So I'm suppose I'm trying to keep that money with them until I really decide what I want to do. And it's time consuming. It's time for expansion. It's time. Like, am I willing to give up my full-time job and focus thoroughly on my business, the milk bar, and really expand it? Like, that is that weary time I'm at the moment.
Yeah. You're at this tipping point at the moment where you have to decide, do you want to go full hog into this and expand it? And do you feel there's potential to do that?
Oh, there is potential. There really is potential. Like, yes, I'm collaborating with another man to make ice cream with me, but would I be better off and more financial better off to go and make the ice cream myself? Like, you know what I mean? I have to pay him to make the ice cream for me. Like, like the sales I've got, would I be better go off and make the ice cream myself and have a better market off it? Like a markup on it. You know what I mean? There's those opportunities. I could really go and push into more coffee shops, restaurants, farm shops. Like, I could push more. I don't push. So whoever comes to me, I have these businesses that come to me and ask me, Shannon, can I get your milk for my coffee shop? And I'm like, not a problem. And then I say to them, well, it's €1.50. And they're like, yeah, okay. So I always find those coffee shops that come to me, they're the ones willing to pay that full money. Where my opinion, if I went and try and sell my product to other coffee shops and really advertise it and try and really expand my business, I probably need to drop the price, probably a wee bit to try and get all of them. So I have never went out and tried and tracked these businesses in. So I suppose if I quit my full-time job and went focused on the milk bar, I could go and really, really push it and try and get into as many as I possibly could, which really helped your business. So.
Did you ever consider the area? This is a question here. I know we produce over 8 billion litres of milk in this country every year, but is there any opportunity here for raw milk? I know you talk about pasteurized milk, but
the department shut me down straight away. He doesn't want you to do raw milk. It's such a health risk to your customers. Like, if something went wrong, like, it's all on you. And then I suppose the problem with us, TB is a massive issue here in Ireland. And like, if I went down with TB, I have to stop selling milk. If I was doing raw milk, but pasteurization, you don't have to. And the thing is, like, if you're building up all these customers and then you're like, oh, I have to shut down because of TB, Like, how long are we going to get up and going? Like, it could be within the next 3 months, it could be longer, it could be a year. You don't know. And the thing is, you're starting all over again to say, I have to build up these customers again. So you might have lost them by then. And then, like, as I keep saying, like, I do get a lot of text messages from customers saying, like, oh, can I get raw milk? Can I get raw milk? And I said to guys, this is the closest thing you'll get to raw milk. Like, the only thing is, like, is your pasteurization is only 15 seconds. Like, it's such a short time and you have the natural layer of cream on top, like what you would get in raw milk. There's nothing added, there's nothing taken away. And it's what I say to my customer, this is the closest thing you'll get to raw milk. So, like, I don't really understand why they want raw milk.
And Shannon, do you use a lot of energy in the process? Do you use a lot of electricity in terms of milk cooling, pasteurization?
I sort of sneak it off Dad, so I don't know.
You don't measure or monitor it?
I don't measure it. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't. I don't measure it, so I don't know what I personally take.
Maybe I'll put that question to Mark or to Michaella. Would you have any idea of the electricity consumption here in terms of pasteurization or in terms of milk cooling? Maybe, and Shannon wouldn't like her father maybe to hear the answer to this.
I keep my mouth shut.
So, as I was mentioned in the presentation, for the optimal pasteurization, we want the milk going in cold. And a lot of customers would say to me, would it not be more beneficial to go in direct from the parlour because you're going at 32 degrees as opposed to 4? But what we say with our plate heat exchanger, if you have the milk going in at 32 degrees, you can only cool that pasteurized milk down as far as 40 using regeneration. And then you need a chiller to cool it from 40 down to 4, which is for 500 litres, roughly 18 kilowatt of cooling. Whereas if you go in at 4 degrees, using that milk at 4, we can get the milk down as far as 12 without any chiller at all, in just purely from regeneration. So our chiller then is only a 4 kilowatt chiller. On average, for 500 litres, we have a 9 kilowatt heating element, which we put on for 15 minutes straight to heat up. And once it's up to temperature, we're only using 4 kilowatt of heating. And with regards to the actual ice bank we have, you build it up in the night rate. So we'll say it's an ice bank that will give you 1,000 litres of milk from 12 down to 4 degrees in a 2-hour duration. So you're building that ice bank up over 4 hours. So it's not direct cooling. So when the ice bank's actually running, you're only using maybe a 0.75 kilowatt pump. On average, for 500 litres of milk, you're using approx 10 kilowatt power. Now, I don't know how much you're paying a kilowatt at the moment, but if it was perhaps 30 cent a kilowatt, an average it would probably cost €3 for 500 litres of milk in the pasteurizer.
Now, I don't know if you recommend this, Mark, or not, but like just another option there. I didn't buy an ice bank. I went and used the ice bank that Dad uses for the big bulk tank. So obviously that's keeping that bulk tank cold. So I just steal that off him. So I didn't have to go and buy an ice bank. So that's just another option of big dairy farmers. If he's having a big enough ice bank to do both, you can able to use that. And I just have an on button and off button, like I just switch just like a proper plug just to turn on the ice bank or turn it off if I want to take it off him.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. I have a lot of questions coming in here, so maybe this one is for Mark or for Michaella. Are such vending machines best located near or on a public road rather than within a farmyard? Which would mostly be the optimal location?
To be honest, this is kind of an open enough question because I'd always say to customers that I have some people that are in a very, very good location on a busy road, but then they wouldn't be half as busy as people who are in, we'll say, on the farm. And the reason for that is marketing. Because I always say to people, if people don't know you're there, that's not worth it. Whereas people that are heavy in social media, actually putting a face to their brand, giving the public a reason to actually travel, they're the ones who are doing more success. And even the ones then again who offer more than just milk, like for example, doing milkshakes or doing potatoes, doing eggs, and kind of making it like a day out. So, being honest, what I'd always say is I'd go do a site visit, I'd have a conversation with the farmer, see exactly what they want to do. Like there's some farmers who are happy having it self-service just at the end of a boarding that they never want to do any more than just full fat milk through a vending machine. Whereas people, like Shannon has mentioned herself, there is a lot of opportunity that once you start getting into this, you can go bottling, you can go hospitality, restaurants, you can do ice cream, you can do cream, butter. Opportunities are endless, but it just depends on the farmer, the particular farmer, what they want to do themselves and what the end goal is.
Okay, we'll keep going through these guys as fast as possible because there's loads of questions coming in. In the opinion of the experts, what distance would consumers travel on average to buy such fresh milk, and what population in total is needed to justify such a vending machine and make it economically viable? That's from Lisa or from Liam.
Well, guys, I have customers that actually drive an hour every week. I have customers that drive over 30 minutes every week. Like, do you know what I mean? If they love their product, they'll come. The
And
thing is,
have you mainly domestic customers, or do you have businesses like hotels, restaurants that buy off you as well?
I have businesses that buy off me as well. I deliver to them. My customers all come to me. But like I supply to the coffee shops. I just see another question there from your man Noel. In the coffee shops, and farm shops and all, I have glass bottle. It depends on the size of the business, how big a volume that coffee shops and all, how much coffee they all sell. Like some businesses I sell in with glass bottles. There's some businesses I sell in with. I have lovely we 4 litre milk churns. I have my name and all on them branded, and I just stick a label on for data, best of 4 date and so on. I just got the thing is, nice 4 litre one is easy for the people who work in the business to be able to lift it and pour it into a jug and so on. Like you can buy these big 15, 30 litre milk churns, but like there's nobody really can lift those, and they're a pain they'd be a pain for them. And where do they store them? Like they sort of need a cold room. Also I use as bag in the box dispensers. I know there's a bit of plastic and all involved in it, but the thing is it holds about 13.5 litres, so it's not as much like every 2 litre drum that they would use. And they just have a wee dispenser in their coffee shop, and I bring, let's say, 4 boxes to them. They put them in their fridge, and they just put that box in when they need it, and when they run out, they put the next one in. So those wee bag and box dispensers are a great job. We cost efficient, like they're maybe only 450 sometimes. I've some of those in coffee or my farm shops. So okay, so I probably deliver to them every 3 days, every 2 days, whatever. They have nice fresh milk for the customers. So they put the bag, the dispenser up, and they just keep putting in fresh milk in the bag in the box, and the customer just comes and manually fills their bottles, which is it's a cheaper option. Sorry, Mark, than your vending machines. Like they're really expensive. So those bag and box dispensers are a lot cheaper to try and get your milk elsewhere, because sometimes you don't have those customers that are willing to drive 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day. And if I have Ballyholy Farm Shop in Rafo, which there's a fantastic shop. They're on the news and everything, on TV, and they supply the potatoes, vegetables, the whole shebang, and do events, dig your own dinner, and so on. And I put my milk in there, and they're great. And the volume I get in there is fantastic. But so that's what I do.
I'll keep going through these questions as quickly as possible because there's a lot of them coming in, Shannon, here. And maybe there's a question for you, Mark or Michaella, because you deal with a lot of these customers. Is planning permission on or other authorizations needed to locate a vending machine near a public road? That's from Liam.
Yeah, so a lot of what we would say, it would be subject to local planning regulation, but there are different ways about it. For example, if it's a mobile unit, then you might not need planning. Whereas if it's a change of use, then you might. I have some customers who've actually put them into like a car park in the garage that would already have planning permission, so they might not require it there. So it would be very, very site dependent. But what I can do if I am speaking to this customer direct, I can do a site visit. We can have a look at potentially where they're thinking about the vending machine. I can give my advice and kind of point them in the right direction.
Maybe while you're there as well, Mark, what is the question with Dara? What's the minimum volume of daily milk sales required to justify an investment in entry-level vending machine at €1.50 in terms of the sales price? That's per litre.
So a lot of people would have based their business plan originally on 200 litres a day. Now, there are going to be days such as the weekend or during the summer that will be busier than, we'll say, a dark winter night. But it's not just the milk that you're selling, it's the glass bottle. And when you open up, it's the glass bottle that you're selling for €3.50 a bottle, that where you're going to make a lot of your initial investment back. Because, say, for example, if you're the first in the county or people are asking how far people will travel, When you start selling, most of your sales will be a bottle sale and a glass or a litre of milk sale. So you're making the $3.50 for the glass bottle, but also €1.50 litre of milk. So that first litre you sell, you're probably selling for €5. Plus, if you sell the syrup on top of it, that's €5.50. So a lot of people would base their business plan off 200 litres a day. But as the business expands and expands, your bottle sales will decrease and you'll be more reliant on the milk sale. But people would base off 200 litres a day.
Okay, thanks. As quickly as possible, folks, so we only have 5 minutes. Can Shannon share the volume of milk that she is selling per week, and what volume of weekly sales would be required to generate an annual income of, say, €40,000?
Every week, every month is different. Summer is always very, very busy. Christmas is always very busy for me. Christmas week, getting milk for Santa. Winter nights now might take a drop, right? So you don't have those regular or those Sunday and Saturday drivers out. But summertime, I'd be very busy. Even those coffee shops, like my volume could go over 1,000 something a week, 1,500 a week. Bad weeks might be 600. That's what I roughly do. It just depends. Every time's different. So,
and Shannon, what percentage of your milk sales will go through the vending machine?
Guys, we have over 450 cows. They produce a lot of milk. So it's a very, very small percentage that I actually take. I mean, I dream if I get ever that big, but like something I would love maybe in the future would be like have my own wee herd of cows and my group of cows that just go through my vending machine. But here, guys, that's years down the line. But that's something like there's no way I'm going to get up to the volume of Dad sales. It's not a hope.
Okay, question from Eva. Thanks, Shannon, for your presentation. A question for you in terms of scale. You mentioned that some milk is still sold to your local co-op. Do you plan to scale up the milk bar so all your milk is sold directly off the farm in the future? As kind of linked in what we're talking about there.
Probably someday, but at the moment in time, not. I'm such a young girl, obviously looking to get a mortgage, buy houses and all, and being self-employed is just not as easy to get that money from the bank. So I probably try and stay full-time as much as I can for now. And just keep the milk bar ticking and going. Like I see there's another question there about staff. Like I just might need to hire more staff and expand that way than me giving up my job. Like I do love my job. It's my freedom. It's getting away from my business. It's my headspace. So at the moment I only have a wee part-time girl, helps me out morning, evening, comes in she farms on the farm as well. So after she's finished milking, she comes and does my bit of milking or pasteurizing milk for me. And she then might clean up the area before she comes back for evening milking. But I have no full-time staff at the moment, and she only comes maybe 3 times a week. So I have not much staff.
How do you ensure the customers return with clean bottles and lids versus blaming the milk for souring quicker than normal?
That is obviously I test milk every day. So this is why you do your in-house test, okay? So you prove that your milk is safe for human consumption. And then I suppose we obviously take milk for ourselves in the home farm. So when we're in for our cereals and all, we know if it's off and it's not off. And then obviously if somebody does text you, you're like, oh, my milk's off. You're like, well, I have no other complaints. You know, that kind of way. It'd be a different story if you were getting 10 messages and you're like, oh God, obviously that batch was bad. But usually never. And it's always somebody trying to be silly or hear themselves. But the thing is, it's down to them to clean their bottles. It's nothing to do with me. I have a little sign just beside the vending machine saying it's your own responsibility to make sure your bottle's cleaned. And I have instructions how you should clean your bottle. And that's it.
And Shannon, what price do you sell your milk at per litre?
I sell mine for €1.50, but now I know I've seen other vending machines down in Ireland selling for €2 a litre. But
that's okay. And can I just go to Mark there? What is the cost of a basic all 1 unit setup?
So the actual Smart Milk Dairy, the all-in-one starts from roughly around 110,000 plus the VAT, but there are extras available. But with regards to actually getting set up as a whole, doing like a setup that Shannon done, building bricks and mortar, if you asked me a few years ago, it probably would have been between 100 and 115,000. But the problem is the price of material and everything in this country has actually increased. So that costs probably closer to 150 to 160,000 now. But you have to incorporate hidden costs like testing, even buying the glass bottle, because even though you can potentially make €1.50, €2 on the glass bottle, it's still an initial cost. Obviously you're paying for a food safety consultant. So on average, I'd say 150 to 160,000.
Okay, did Shannon, just a clarification, did Shannon say that you cannot sell through a vending machine if your herd is restricted with TB? I think that was just raw milk.
The raw milk. When you pasteurize, you can.
Okay. Okay. So look, we have lots of, how many, we have the staff one covered there as well. Is there a market for homogenized opposed to fully pasteurized, or do Unison offer facility for homogenized milk? Caroline.
So we do sell homogenized because it's another side of the business, but as I mentioned, we're an OEM manufacturer. We're suppliers for various equipment manufacturers worldwide. But with regards to milk vending, none of the existing setups in Ireland or mainly in the UK would actually be homogenizing the milk. They're all marketing gently pasteurized, not homogenized. But like, it is something that we can provide, but it just has not been done in Ireland for milk vending yet.
Okay, folks, there we have to leave it. A great thought-provoking discussion. We explored the transformative potential of dairy diversification, particularly through the utilisation of vending machine technology. We've learned about the benefits of connecting farmers directly with consumers, fostering transparency and promoting sustainability in dairy production. So I want to thank our panellists, Michaella McMahon and Mark Hanrahan from Unison, and Shannon Porter from the Milk Bar in Donegal for sharing their very valuable insights and their expertise with us today. This webinar has been recorded and will be available to view back afterwards, because there was a lot of information to take in a short space of time. I'll be back next week. I'll be discussing the whole area of self-catering and offering that as a diversification opportunity on your farm for you or your farm family members. So from me, Barry Caslin, and to our great panelists here today, thank you very much for listening, and talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you later.